Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I wanted to share some art I did on a recent solo trip to the mountains, so let's get into it. I did these silly little illustrations spontaneously after I woke up and it was still dark, so I just turned on my lantern and started drawing because I didn't want to just start making a lot of noise, disturbing other campers while making breakfast. They're still super rough, but I love them and I'd love to redraw them a little bit better. Okay, I love this drawing right here. This one's inspired by Smokey the Bear, and I put a little spin on it. It says, only you can prevent forest fires, or not, and I just thought it was so cute and silly. Obviously, these are raccoons and not bears, but fun fact, raccoons are related to bears. Further down the page, we have the mama raccoon. She's on a hike. She's got her backpack on, and she's fallen down. But she notices these flowers that she would probably not have seen if she hadn't fallen down. So to me, this represents optimism and happy accidents. On the next page, I stuck to the camping and outdoors theme. On my drive to the campsite, I saw this sign for trail crossing and it had a person on it, of course, so I decided to redraw it as a raccoon. Lastly, I have this raccoon family that is preparing to go camping. This is inspired by my toddler who will get up to all sorts of trouble by himself while we're packing and are distracted. And I thought that's exactly what a baby raccoon would do. You just get up in the front of the car and start pretending to drive and pressing all the buttons, and yeah, I had fun drawing this one. Okay, so these set of drawings I didn't actually do on my trip, but I was so inspired by my raccoon family that I wanted to keep drawing with the outdoorsy theme and raccoons. So I did this one with the raccoon looking at the mountains, and I love this one so much with the colors. And then I tried this tree one. They're apple picking, and I don't feel like I nailed the raccoons, but I think I'll redo it because I do like the colors, and I used marker with this one, whereas the opposite page was all watercolor, so I'll try it again. And just for the heck of it, I did these two raccoons on a golden rain tree, and I'm not 100% happy with this one, but I like where it's going. I used watercolors and I did a few colored pencils on top, and I like the colors, but I think I'll definitely redo that one. Next, I have a secondary sketchbook that is much smaller, so I use this one in my hiking backpack when I was out hiking, and it was much easier to take around, of course, because of its size. So I did this little quick marker sketch of maroon bells on a little trail, and thankfully I was alone, so I felt comfortable doing that, but it was hot, 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 and there was no good place to sit, and not really a good shady spot either, so I just decided that I would finish this later. So I took a lot of pictures and just decided to leave. But I also just wanted to show it really quick because sometimes that's just the reality of doing something on site. Conditions aren't always favorable, so you have to think about that ahead of time. And since this was one of my first times doing something on site, well, I didn't know any better. This next one really surprised me. So, this is just the Maroon Creek that runs by the campsite, and since everybody was out doing all the fun stuff and looking at the mountains, I was out at the campsite and getting out my paints and my markers and stuff like that. And I felt comfortable sitting here because nobody was there. And I'm a little bit shy. So I did a watercolor wash and it was definitely in the ugly stage. And then I just kept going and adding markers and a little bit more watercolor layers and more markers and then colored pencil. And then maybe 30 to 45 minutes into it, I actually really enjoyed the result of it and the process of it. And this was completely unplanned. So I'm really happy with the result and what came out of it because it's such a surprise to me, especially how colorful it came out. So I really like this page. Okay, so now we're headed to the next spot, which is actually right next to where I completed my last drawing, right by the water. And it's a nice shady spot, but it's relatively mundane. And to be honest, I actually made it mundane too, composition wise. And I wasn't really thinking about it, but I like how it came out too, mostly because of the colors. And I followed the same process with the initial watercolor wash. I added markers for the shadows and outlined them a little bit with colored pencil. And again, it's kind of a boring composition, but I really like how the tree in the foreground came out. Then in the same area, I decided to draw some flowers and leaves, and I wanted to go for sort of botanical look, but it's one of my first times doing that, and it didn't come out quite how I was thinking, and I think it just needs more time. I didn't really spend a lot of time on it, but it's definitely something I'd like to try in the future. So yeah, it was really nice to go on a trip on my own and do things on my own time. I'd love to keep taking my art practice outdoors and trying new things and seeing where I go from there. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it.